if AI generated you a novel in Swedish, and I don't know, and I tried to give you, hey, this is the great new novel I just made. It's Swedish. It's amazing. You're going to love it. Make a movie out of this. You're going to read it as native speakers, and you're going to go, something doesn't feel right about this novel. Did you use AI with this? You know, it's not art.
Action. Scott Hanselman, thank you for joining us.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
I could start with introducing you, and I can spend an hour doing that. But we always would like our guests to introduce themselves. But you are a special guest, so what we would like you to do is you introduce yourself to someone who is not in the tech industry. How would you introduce yourself to such a person?
I would say I'm a professor. I would say I'm a computer teacher.
Okay.
But why professor, not teacher? You usually introduce yourself as teacher.
Well, teacher implies in the United States, teacher implies grade school or high school, and professor implies university. So I have never taught high school, but I have taught at 2 universities. So we would say professor to mean degrees, getting a degree.
So if I would not be in the tech world, and I would say, "Oh, professor sounds interesting." What is your what's your like main topic that you talk about in your when you teach?
Well, I teach computers. I teach computer ethics. I teach AI. I teach programming languages. I teach history of computers. I think computer science history is an under-respected space. I mean, you can see right here, I've got a PDP-11 microcomputer running in the background there. These are all 3D printed helmets and stuff. There's an arcade right there. Like, there's a lot of history in this room. I've got an Apple One around the corner that you can't see. So yeah, like the last 50 years of computing.
Okay.
Yeah, and you also have a special tool. There is something that you have been doing, like more than 1,000 episodes, I think, of podcasts
Yeah.
all over the
I
place.
just recorded episode 999 this morning.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Satya for the 1,000, but I might have to make it 1,024 because his schedule is quite challenging.
Yeah, that would be actually.
I need like a famous person for 1,000, but I don't have a famous person like on speed dial.
Yep.
All right.
But hopefully you will get Satya on that 1,000.
Yeah.
Maybe soon.
We'll see.
We'll see. So how, I mean, if you, I mean, if you would introduce yourself as a professor, and I mean, to many of us who are in the tech industry all over the world, you are a professor. But how did that start? How why did you start by, I mean, teaching, and why was it important for you?
I was very initially, when I was 12, affected by a teacher who, when my parents met with her in grade 5, I was 11, 10 or 11, she told them to buy me a computer, and they bought me a Commodore 64. And that was extremely meaningful. If that had not happened, I would not be where I am. So I feel like and this is a teacher who I didn't just remember. Like, this is my 5th grade teacher. She was at my wedding. We hung out. Like, I kept in touch with her until she passed away for 25 years, 30 years. And actually, I still have.
Oh, now he's standing up for those.
I have like my Commodore 64s.
Wow.
Oh.
Like here, so like these are still a part of
Yeah,
my
this one
life.
I remember those big discs that you have to put in them. They look like video.
Oh, you mean? Hang on.
Of course.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Wow.
Floppy disks. So yeah, I just happen to have one sitting right here. So
what
like,
do you have on it?
this is I think this is ANSI BBS like graphics files made of text. It's called ANSI.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. But I mean, yeah, you talked about, I mean, I guess that, I mean, a lot of us is, I mean, even us doing episodes, we don't have as many episodes as you. I mean, we're like episode 11 at the moment, but still, I mean, what drives us to actually have this podcast and try to show something to the community? I mean, there's some kind of drive, but what was the drive for you to actually go from being like a tech guy to actually start, I want to show the world what this is, and I want to teach everyone? What was that drive, or do you remember such such a
Um,
moment?
the enthusiasm that my 5th grade teacher gave me was so infectious that it informed my own enthusiasm.
Mm,
So a teacher is someone who's excited about something, so excited that they want to take time out of their day to tell you about that thing.
mm, mm,
I've never liked the word evangelism. You know how sometimes you hear about technology evangelists and developer evangelists. I think that's always a bad idea,
mm,
um, because evangelism implies that I have a religion and your religion is bad, so you should convert to my
Right.
religion.
mm,
And
Yeah.
that's just a bad vibe. But a
mm,
teacher is not trying to convert you to anything. A teacher is trying to awaken what's going on in your own brain. So
mm,
for me, I'm kind of wandering around saying, "Have you heard the news about 3D printing? Are you
mm,
familiar with Raspberry Pis?" Like I made a robot earlier this
mm.
week that like has like an arm and stuff. So I'm working on a Raspberry Pi robot here on my
That's
counter.
cool. Yeah.
Like that's just the stuff I have on my desk.
Yeah.
So how can you not be excited about these things?
Mm,
Teachers should have that kind of energy. I
mm,
think I'm not sure how it is in Sweden, but like the person on TV, children's television that sings and dances and teaches you how to read,
mm.
I'm trying to be like that, except for grown people who like computers.
Yeah, but yes, it's always I want to get part of that energy, this
Yeah.
excitement. I
Yeah.
want to be like that. This is
Yeah.
always it makes you more interested in the subject that you are listening to,
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep,
which is
exactly. So
also took me to one thing that I taught myself from you.
Mm,
Actually, it's about like 12 years ago. I've been watching this talk, scaling yourself.
mm.
oh, that's an old one, a classic.
Yeah,
I,
it
I
is.
rewatched it yesterday, and it was. Yeah, I have so many questions around this, but yeah, let's yeah.
Yeah, but I've been like talking about this is how it was like to differentiate efficiency and effectiveness.
Mm,
Like this talk have been like being a part of this life until 2021,
mm,
which was the last time I think you gave that talk. So it
Yeah,
was
I
we
give versions of that talk
uh,
all over the place.
mm,
There have been versions of that talk, gosh, that have been going around. I did it at South by Southwest 15 years ago.
mm,
They're all different because the technologies changed, philosophies change.
mm,
There was more social media.
mm,
There's more social media now. So like
mm,
back then we were worried about Twitter when it just started in like
mm,
2007. And now we have TikTok, which is changing people's brains.
mm.
yeah.
Um, so that talk about scaling yourself is also about disconnecting,
Yeah.
getting less involved in your phone and trying not to get it like I was trying to get my phone away at the beginning
Mm,
before we started the talk. I had a
mm,
Mhm.
couple of like, don't bother me, don't come in here. The door is closed, I'm recording.
mm.
And you want to be present and not be distracted by all the things that are going on around you. Close Teams, close email, all that crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part actually to just disconnect. It needs some courage.
Yeah. But I mean, I mean, you actually talked. You just spoke about that you do this speech. I mean, this talk, and you redo it depending on where we are today. I mean, and the question is actually, if you were to do the scaling yourself talk today,
Mm.
or if you would have done it, yeah, today, what would you rewrite, and what would your like, how would what would you focus on today?
I would remind people to stay awake. And
Mm,
by awake, I mean present
mm,
and in the
Mm.
moment. I think we lose days, we lose time. You know,
mm,
you go to work, maybe you like your job, maybe you don't. You
mm,
do the thing, you're tired, you put Teams on your phone, you put Outlook on your phone, you put Slack on your phone, and then you go and you stop working at 5. This
mm,
might be a bigger problem in North America than it is in Scandinavia, but I'm
mm,
interested in if it is. And
mm,
Mm.
then 7, 8 o'clock after dinner, you tend to check your email again sometimes, and then the next thing you know, it's 10:30 at night and you're looking at work.
mm,
That's a unhealthy thing. So you have to kind of go, what am I what am I doing? Like
mm,
that kind of like staying awake
mm,
and trying to stay awake as much as possible, staying present and intentional as much as possible.
mm,
So if something's going on, a work thing, a reorg, something big at work, yeah, you can focus on work. But if you're doing that every day, all day, at all times, and
mm,
then Instagram and Twitter and Blue Sky and da da da, da and then it's like everything is another inbox.
mm.
you forget about what's in front of you and the people that are around you that matter.
But that's really interesting. But I think it needs some certain it needs some maturity, level of maturity to just actually achieve this level. Like I would say, I do understand what you mean, but for me, I'm a person. I'm trying to keep up. I'm always excited when I see something. I want to go more and learn. I want to know what's coming on.
Mhm.
I feel like if I don't do these things and I want to spend this half an hour just reading about this, if I don't watch this video, I would maybe
Yeah.
miss it a little bit.
Mm.
What to do then?
Yeah. There's a word for that. We've called FOMO. Have you
Yeah.
heard that term, FOMO?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. we
Yeah.
do. We're
Fear of
both.
missing out. Right. It's just like there's a million things you're going to learn, but you're not going to learn them all.
Yeah.
Being present and learning something slowly has value. There's some learning that can happen on YouTube, but
Mm,
like few people are sitting there like this watching a 3-hour YouTube taking notes. If
Mm.
you're able to do that, like kudos to you.
Mm.
But like putting the time aside, like right now I'm looking at my list of books here. I have a pile of books on my desk, right? So like I'm going through, like these are my 5 books.
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't read the
Mm. Yeah.
top one there. Source
Yeah.
code.
So
Yeah.
Bill Gates biography, John Lewis, who's a famous American politician and civil rights person.
Mm.
The Underground Railroad, which is a novel. The Nature of Code by Dan Schiffman, who wrote Processing JS and
Mm.
Processing, and then LLMs for Production. So those are
Mm.
that's what I'm currently kind of going through.
Mm.
Um, Trying to get through them at a reasonable speed and taking notes and learning
Mm.
takes a little bit of intention. So I try to set appointments with myself.
Yeah.
90
Okay.
minutes to read this book.
Mm.
Because if you try to find time, like just read it when you're on the toilet, that's not planning.
But do you really do this? Do you sit there and those 90 minutes and you don't get distracted by anything? Because you are
Well,
free to leave the appointment.
there's a couple of things. If you remember the talk, one of the
Mm.
things that I said that gets quoted the most is that airplane mode works on the ground.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the trick is to physically put the phone in another room.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
phone is the problem. If you're just
Yeah.
alone, locked in a room without your phone, everything's fine. But all it takes is for you to go, and then boom, you're looking at Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't have the phone.
Yeah. But I mean, if we go into like the technology world at the moment, I mean, we're in the integration space. But I mean, if you just were at build, I mean, you were just there. I wasn't.
Mm.
But I mean, everything now is AI. I mean, of course, everything. I mean, the technology is AI. Everything is AI. But we get so much information about AI, and I mean, your talk is about scaling yourself, and I just think about the possibilities to actually scale and be more even efficient with AI. Uh,
Okay,
and
but see,
also effective. I mean, just talking
what
about
is
your.
but we have to remind ourselves efficient within the context of that talk. I talk about efficiency and effectiveness,
Mm.
Yeah.
right? So efficiency is doing things right, and effectiveness is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Um, we are focused too much on AI. We are focused too much on AI as a efficiency tool,
Mm.
but the AI doesn't have good judgment.
Mm.
The AI will help you be efficient. The AI will not help you be effective.
Mm.
Um, and do you need to be efficient? Like, what is it that means you need to be efficient?
Mm.
Capitalism?
Mm.
Like the march of time towards your inevitable death?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you need to be efficient? Why not just not be efficient?
Mm.
Like, how much
Yeah,
how much
yeah.
more efficient can you
I mean,
be?
Mm. But I mean, in our scope, in our scope, and I think it's in every like company's agenda at the moment is if we don't do this, then I mean, someone else would do it, and they would be even more efficient and effective, and we would. I mean, in this world, I mean, what would you say regarding like AI at the moment? Since we are so much, there's so much unlimited scaling if you just do it right, but people are chasing doing it
Yeah,
right.
but my question is,
Mm.
to what end?
Yeah.
mm.
Like you're a company, you do a thing, you make scooters or you
Mm.
make Novo Nordisk, you make insulin.
Mm.
So if is the goal to make insulin more efficiently so that you might make more money
Mm.
or that you might make sure everyone who wants insulin has insulin?
Mm.
Like so I think we need to remind ourselves, what are we optimizing for?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when Ahmed dies and we all go to his funeral and there's like a gravestone, does he want us to say he was 10% more efficient than the rest of us through his excellent use of large language models? Like, does that go on your tombstone?
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, yes, I wouldn't want to be remembered by the ones the way. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
But I just what I think when I think about those things, I just wanted to be honest. Now since we took it that deep to like to the graveyard conversation there.
It got
What
pretty
about
dark pretty fast. Sorry, buddy.
But that's what happens in this podcast.
yeah, but let's go there.
It's
What
a
I
love
want,
story, but it inevitably everyone dies. We
I
all.
mean,
yeah,
yeah, that's it.
Sorry, you were saying.
yeah, I was just saying that it's like I create a legacy. I want to be remembered for doing something, and the only thing that I'm doing now, like affecting, I work 8 hours a day or like whatever for 40 hours a week, maybe more than that, usually more than that, with my colleagues, and I spend a lot of time with those people. How like those I need to affect them, they affect my life and I affect their lives. So what we have in common is our profession.
Hmm. Okay. So, is your profession to create stuff so other people can get rich?
No.
Right. That's an
Yeah.
oversimplification, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it
Yeah.
is
Right.
right.
So, you would say your job is to empower others
Yeah.
to achieve.
Hmm.
The question is, what is the achievement that they're making, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes, I want them to be more. I want them like others to work maybe less and make the same amount of money. I want them to not be doesn't have to struggle this much with what they do. And I also feel now that with AI use that we are focusing on how we replace the human being, but we are not really focusing on how we get rid of those small bits and bytes that we don't have to sit and look through log files to troubleshoot something, or we don't have to sit and read a whole book about the programming language to actually.
Okay. So then that would be your job is to reduce toil,
Yeah.
right? Your job is to let people do fun things and not like tedious things.
And I mean, from a company perspective, I mean, we just had a seminar, not a seminar, but we just had two, how do you say, lectures, or like
No,
talks.
it's a talk. It was
Yeah, two talks. I mean, AI specialist from our company and actually a local Microsoft expert talking about AI. We had customers here and we talked about like agentic AI and everything like that. But what we actually talked about after the sessions was that what do we need to spend less time on that actually AI can help us with, not spending time. We don't want to do integration errors, which is the space where we come from. We don't want to investigate. It's not something that brings value to anyone to investigate for the 99th time that day about regarding an error, what happened in integration. So I mean, what we want to do here is talk about how can AI and the new technology help us with that, and how can it reduce.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question is then, you guys are not, I mean, I can't tell how old you are. You could be 29 for all I know. But, there's been the internet, there's been the iPhone, there's been wireless. These are all things that are as big or bigger than AI. I think we're excited about AI because it's the new big thing.
Yeah.
The question is it the biggest thing ever? The cloud itself, the concept of the cloud, didn't exist 15 years ago. That seems like a pretty big thing. Have we forgotten that? Like, have we forgotten that like hosting was a thing 20 years ago? Like, if someone said scale the web farm, I would go and buy other machines and I would rack them myself and wire them myself. And now it's a slider bar. It's a checkbox. Like, entire jobs were flying into other people's companies and configuring their load balancer.
Yeah.
And now that's a checkbox. So the question is, are we, like, it's great, AI is happening. Is it going to eat the world, or is it just another thing? Is it just another tool like touchscreens, Wi-Fi, cellular, pocket supercomputers, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, I agree with you, and I think it's completely right. But what happening, I think, though, this vibe or this huge big thing is we need to rethink how we do things. Like we are developers. at the end of the day, we work with code and we deliver solutions. We don't need to do this way. We don't need to do the same things in the same way anymore. And this way, old ways, is changing now. And I think that there is a lot of people who doesn't actually understand this, and they want to keep working in the same old ways, which is gonna affect us all.
Okay.
Like, if you get a question, if I'm a junior, if I am a junior developer that's just starting my career now, and like you're saying, no, we don't need to worry about AI because someone still need to write the AI code. But I can see the development of AI will be writing its own code now.
Yeah, but does it understand it, right? So, like, you guys speak Swedish fluently,
Yeah.
presumably, right? If I AI generated you a novel in Swedish, and I don't know, and I tried to give you, hey, this is the great new novel I just made. It's Swedish. It's amazing. You're gonna love it.
Mm.
Make a movie out of this. You're gonna read it as native speakers, and you're gonna go, something doesn't feel right about this novel. Did you use AI with this? You know, it's not art. You know, it's shovelware, right? So we keep saying, well, just wait. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Will it? Like, will AI be able to write code that is as good as a great Swedish novel? It can write code for sure, but can it write like poetry level code, like Linus and like John Carmack Doom quality code?
Yeah, I don't think so, but it will be some sort of intelligence. What I agree
I
with
don't
you
think
on
it's
this.
intelligent. I
Huh?
don't think it can. I don't think that next word prediction will ever be intelligent.
What will it be though? What
It'll
will
be
it
a
be?
parrot.
Okay.
It will be.
You have parrots in Sweden, right? I assume they speak Swedish.
Yeah.
So, like, why do they speak Swedish? Because like there's an old
Probably
lady next to the parrot talking to it all the time, and then it goes, "Wah, how's it going?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, that parrot is so smart. It speaks Swedish. But it's living there for 10 years, hearing the same words over and over again. It's going to keep saying it. So you don't think the parrot's going to develop intelligence if we talk to it long enough, do you?
but that's actually really interesting. How to not end up with like a parrot that's have been the last generation was writing actually like real code
Yeah.
will
Like I
be
could go
maybe.
and create a parrot. I could have a parrot, get one, and then instead of saying, hi, how are you, Polly want a cracker, I could say, public static void main, public static void main for like,
But
many years. And then everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, the parrot can code.
Yeah, but I mean, if we see it like a tool for actually helping us do even more valuable stuff, I mean, it can even be that the value here is to do less time, spend less time on work, spend less time on anywhere. It's just that how would you use AI if you would give an advice to yourself with this AI generation, to your younger self, knowing what you know today, how would you, how do you say, approach AI today, and what would your advice be regarding everything that's happening in this AI driven world?
We need to remind ourselves why we're doing these things. I'm going to go right back to my original conversation about staying awake,
Yeah.
staying present, but why? So
Mm.
what? If
Mm.
AI is to make everything more efficient,
Mm.
then we should make sure that everyone has food.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
If AI is to make everyone more efficient, then your company, I assume, will give Fridays off work,
Mm.
right? Isn't like I'm teasing you a little bit, but
Mm.
if the goal is to make us 20% more efficient,
Mm.
is Ahmed still working till 5, or can he
Mm.
leave at 3?
Mm.
Yeah,
Maybe he
yeah,
can just have Fridays off. So let's all
Yeah.
agree that AI is meant for humans to have 3-day weekends.
Mm. Could
But
be.
it's not. It's
Mm.
not because they want us to work 60 hours a week and be 10 times more productive.
Yeah.
Which brings
that's
me
ac-
back to it needs to do the toil.
Yeah.
And if the goal is for it to do the toil, then the goal is for me to do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And if the goal is for me to do the fun stuff, why am
Mm.
I doing fun stuff at work?
Mm.
Fun stuff is at home.
Yeah.
mm,
I don't
yeah,
want to do 40 hours of hard work, fun or not.
Mm.
Let me get in, do my job, and by Thursday at lunchtime, I'll go home.
Mm.
I'll be equally as productive. We'll still have 3% growth.
Mm.
Everyone wins. The company is efficient, and we get Fridays off.
Mm.
but no one's having that conversation.
Mm.
I don't think that a lot of people dare to go there because we don't really know yet how can we be that efficient with.
But if we were to have that talk, I mean, if we were to use that AI for that purpose, I mean,
Mm.
if you were to be at exactly, I mean, if you do 40 hours a day and you find like, I don't need to print public static void because the AI will help me with this, and then I can do the fun stuff happening in between because that's more fun to actually
Yep.
write the method that just returns my string or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that could be, then I can do the fun stuff. If the fun stuff is for me to actually focusing on the code that actually matters,
Yeah.
to
But I'm
actually
trying
do.
to
I mean,
challenge assumptions that a
yeah,
40-hour week, that's a thing that the Western world
yeah,
made up. Just
sure,
made it
sure,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
And the pressure, like, well, if we give people Fridays off,
mm,
the other company will give their company, they won't give their people Friday, and we'll lose.
mm,
What is lose? Like, they're gonna shut you down? Like, you're not gonna be able to compete? We won't be able to compete.
mm,
It's okay. Like, you don't
mm,
have to grow and go public. You could just have a boutique.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think they only have this 40 hours. That's my own theory. I don't know if it's true.
mm,
40 hours because that's easy to count. That's
mm,
easy to give money for. You
yeah,
work this amount, you get this money. Like like the estimation, that's all thing. But it
yeah.
doesn't actually have a meaning and it doesn't have more purpose than just
Mm.
this.
But I mean,
Yeah.
if you were to, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of people joining the tech world at the moment, and I mean, they are very very aware of the AI things happening, and I mean, even if it's AI, even if it's something else, I mean, they are very involved in problem solving, I guess, and I mean, if they can use the tools to help them problem
Right,
solving,
okay.
yeah,
They're very involved in problem solving.
yeah,
So, what problems are the right problems? Because this
yeah,
gets into efficiency versus effectiveness again.
yeah,
There's
Mm.
always someone who is trying to use AI to make it so a drone will bring me food,
mm,
right? Like
mm,
Uber for food, right? DoorDash and these kind of features. Like they're wonderfully convenient, except for the person on the bicycle who's bringing the food
mm,
or the
Yes.
drone operator. Like and for every person that's having tacos delivered by drone to their high-rise apartment,
mm,
how many people are in the fields
mm,
that don't have that opportunity for whom a DoorDash would be a joy, a treat?
mm,
So I feel like we need to
Mm.
make, you know how the normal curve works, the bell curve.
yeah,
Yeah.
We're getting to the point where we're about to invert the bell curve, and we're going to have the people who know how to use AI and they get taco drones, and then
mm,
we get the people who serve them food, and then there's
mm,
nobody in the middle.
yeah.
Yes, it's gonna turn up to like be some kind of a Hunger Game
But
scenarios.
I mean, how should we, as I mean, we have a podcast because we want to do like a, also like not teaching, but we want to talk to the community in the tech community, and see what their thoughts are. And I love this conversation. So I mean, what could we what can we teach those who actually feel like this technology is even more available at the moment, and to
I
use it
think you
to,
need to teach people that deciding what you're going to do with a tool is more important than the tool.
yeah,
If you give a monkey a hammer, that
mm,
monkey might learn how to build houses for other monkeys,
mm,
but it
Mm.
might just hit the other monkeys with the hammer.
mm,
It might
yeah,
think that you gave it a weapon, and
yeah,
that hammer is for killing other monkeys.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Um, we need to be thinking about these tools that we have and why we were given them and what they're
mm,
for.
mm,
That's a really nice metaphor, actually.
yeah.
I love it, and it can't be. It's actually very true. And
Mm.
there is some monkeys that you thinking that they can use it for. I
Well, like I'll use crypto as an example. There's lots of crypto people out there, and they're like, crypto is great. Like 25-year-old crypto people, crypto is great for the unbanked. These
Mm,
are people who didn't know who the unbanked were
mm,
Mm.
before they discovered crypto, and crypto is there for them to get rich, but
mm,
they're justifying it by saying no, but the unbanked, without recognizing that there are already solutions for people who don't have the ability to bank.
The ability to
There's
mm,
bank. Yeah.
M-Pesa and e-wallet and on and on and on. There's ways to send people money that have nothing to do with crypto. So
yeah,
so you have a solution
mm,
Mm.
without a problem, and then you just
Yeah.
look for problems that have this kind of like, it's for the unbanked.
yeah,
Dude, it's not for the unbanked. It's for you to anonymously move money around the world without being taxed. That's what
yeah,
it's for.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
yeah,
And we. Yeah. Thank you. It's a really great metaphor, and I really like this, and I would like to continue talking about this, but just take me to we said that we're gonna be rounding up around 30 minutes, and we are closing to that now. Last thing that we would like to hear about. Now we talked about we don't want to create barriers, and we don't want to create to just make ourselves redundant by using AI or killing other people with AI. What would be your advice to the developers that's coming in or like going into this tech community now in 2025 with it like that uncertainty and all of this, what's happening?
I think that people should learn about their history and they should learn about the full stack. If AI can do one thing well, it can teach. And I think that generating public static void main is a very simplistic way to use AI. But saying, I don't understand this code base. Can we sit down and talk about it? Like using it as a rubber duck. I've got a rubber duck on my desk. This is my Borg.
Yeah.
See, there you go. This is my Microsoft Borg rubber
That's a
duck.
good one.
He's been assimilated by the
Really
Borg.
cool.
So, like to say, help me walk through this code base so I might better understand it. That's helpful for an early in career developer to ask questions. But I think the challenge is teaching them what questions to ask.
Yes.
Is challenging.
And also like what is full stack? That's
the stack
like
is deep.
Yes, exactly. I always like when someone telling me full stack. What is full stack? But that's
Do we go all the way to the rock with the lightning, that we put lightning into a rock and made it think? Like how?
Yes,
how deep do you
exactly.
wanna
How
go?
this work?
I mean, it's also. I mean, that's what also was one thing about like the AI's. I mean, and the information about everything AI, and we have integration. For us, it's integration and AI. How will it affect us, and what should we do about it? There's so much information at the moment, so it just to try to keep informed and try to understand. So, what is AI for us? That's how should we even use it as a teacher or a tool, or we don't even know what it is at the moment.
We don't know, and I don't know.
Well, I think also we should remind ourselves that AI, and we're talking about VLLMs generally, large language models. They're not fact makers. They don't create facts. They are only as good as the data that they were generated on, and they were generated and trained on Reddit and Stack Overflow, not all of which is correct. So you can't trust them. So trust but verify. If it generates something, a human needs to go over it. So I very much believe in human in a loop. I don't believe in autonomous AIs as much as I believe in AIs that make plans. Then I review the plan and then I push the button. So if you look at like Microsoft announcing the SWE agent, the software engineer agent, when I kick it off, it says SWE agent is working on behalf of Scott. The pull request is in my name. So you're in a self-driving car, you let go of the wheel, it hits somebody. You are the driver. You have to understand that you are the person. The car is driving on your behalf. So we love the idea of autonomy, but that means then you have this philosophical trolley problem, if you're familiar with the trolley problem. And the only way to solve the trolley problem is that person should decide for themselves.
Yes,
And
that's
then the
fair
trolley
enough.
problem is solved.
That's fair enough. Yes, I think we are running out of time. You have a hard stop. You had already a hard stop in the beginning of that, and we really grateful to have you with us today, and honored to have this. And this conversation was like amazing, and we now have a lot to think about afterwards.
I'm glad. I appreciate. Maybe this isn't the podcast you thought you would get, but I hope it was a helpful conversation.
Yeah, we didn't want to, we decided that we're not going to talk about tech. We just want to deep dive on code and programming language and all of this. We want to talk more human. And we did
so.
I think
but I mean, we want to just, if we could round up with two questions, and you can decide for yourself how long the answers would be. So the podcast is the integration love story. So, but in this way, we want to talk about, I mean, you already mentioned a bit when you're like professor's thoughts started, but do you have a specific like love story regarding like something in tech that when you fell in love with tech and felt like this is something I'm
I
interested
would say the Commodore 64 for me.
Yeah.
Like that was
Ah.
the first computer I ever saw.
Yeah.
And I continue to tinker with 40-year-old computers.
Yeah.
I'll show you another one that I made from a kit.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
This is
That's
a thing called smartykit.io, and
Yeah.
it's an Apple One, and they give you the tools and the kit, and you
wow.
build it from scratch. So this isn't. I mounted this on a board my dad made, so
Yeah.
it doesn't come like this. It comes as a pile of wires, and
Mm.
you go and you put in CPU and GPU, and like that's the memory bus and
Mm.
stuff like that. So like learning how a computer works at that low level. There's another one from a gentleman called Ben Eater, called the
Okay.
6502 Ben Eater kit, and you can
Mm.
build a 6502 compatible PC from
You can just
parts.
order it from him now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I mean,
I actually
it
want to
seems
do
like
that.
you have a room full of love stories, more or less. uh, so yeah, the last question is for you, Ahmed. So
Yeah, we want to just if you would suggest the next guest to us, the next person that would be in this show, and just challenging him with or her with a question, and just give us a name,
Mm.
and we'll try to reach out for this person, and hopefully we will get them to record.
I think a good person to talk to would be Taylor Poindexter.
Mm.
She works at Spotify, and she's a developer, but she also loves whiskey. So I know her
Okay.
from Instagram. She has a Instagram called Woman with Whiskey, and she
Okay.
like
Okay,
does tastings and things like that. And she and I gave the closing keynote of the Strange Loop conference a couple of years ago together. So we teamed up and we gave a talk together. And I think she would be a cool interview.
Great. A challenge question for her.
What's a challenging question for her? I would want to know how she started. I want to know her first computer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So
Now we have it.
we'll reach out, and hopefully she will be in this show.
Yes, hopefully, yeah.
Soon. So
Yes. Thank you. And again, honored to have you here. And thank you for the time that you give us.
yeah, thank you
My
so much,
pleasure.
Scott. It
Thank
was
you.
a true pleasure.